Ah, the Snake River, a beautiful place to boat, play, take a walk, and enjoy the majestic Idaho Falls. But beneath the surface of this calm water is, well, a different world, full of unique, unusual items.
There's just so many that have been different.
Sgt. Karl Casperson has been on the Bonneville County Sheriff's Office Aquatic Rescue and Recovery Team since 1985. He's seen a lot come out of this river over the past 33 years.
We found old payphones, a lot of construction debris, big metal tractor wheels. We kept finding a bunch of tools that were pretty new, shiny looking tools.
Usually, investigators have no idea how long items have been in the water. It could be weeks, months, years, even decades. Like old slot machines. They were pulled from the river a few years ago, but nobody knows how or when they ended up there.
My understanding is that were some old slot machines underneath John's Hole here that were thrown here during, I think it was Prohibition, when suddenly those kind of things were not allowed, and we have had guys recovering coins and stuff from those.
Are the machines still in the water, do you know?
It's possible.
Possible, but not certain. That's because the water is so dark and murky under the surface that when you're searching for items, you have to rely on touch rather than sight.
It's hand over hand searching. We're not able to see anything underwater. It's like diving in chocolate milk. There's no visibility whatsoever.
While some sections of the river are 10 to 15 feet deep, other parts are 100 feet, maybe even more. And with so many things in the water, there's a potential danger every time a diver gets in.
All of that stuff is a hazard to the divers too, because it can get caught on their gear.
Over the years, unique items have been found with no identifying marks, like an old steam boiler that could have been from a power plant or an actual steam engine. Other things are traceable and actually solve crimes.
We had a car that was found down between the Broadway Bridge and the Pancary Bridge, and it had been deliberately put in there. The steering wheel was wired, ignition was still on, and it had been stolen out in the Osgood area probably 15 years prior to that, and we were able to recover it and eventually put it in a scrap heap, but it closed that case.
Some of the most horrific findings in the Snake River can take a toll on divers. In 1993, Jerilee Underwood was abducted near her Pocatello home, and the man behind the brutal crime dismembered her body and threw it in the river north of Idaho Falls.
And our divers had to go in there and recover as much as they could of her, and that was a very trying experience for many of even the seasoned divers.
10 years later, a mentally ill woman drove from Utah with her 19-month-old granddaughter and jumped into the river. Kelly Lodmell got back out of the water without little Acacia Bishop. The baby's body was never found, and Lodmell remains in a mental facility. Other bodies could be hidden in these waters, but it's likely we'll never know.
The only way it would ever be found is if it were ever drained, if the water stopped running.
And while that may sound crazy, it could happen, but probably won't.
It could be done. The fisheries and other biological interests don't really want to see a completely dry river.
Lyle Swank is the water master for District 1 and says trillions of gallons of water flow through here every year. He believes one day it may be possible to see things buried deep in the river.
There may be additional technologies that could be developed to be able to determine if there's any objects that might be below the surface.
Until then, next time you're out walking along the river or water skiing or swimming, think about what could be buried deep beneath the surface of these calm, beautiful waters.
I think that would be very interesting, probably the things that you would see.
In Idaho Falls, Nate Eaton, EastIdahoNews.com.